What's going on, everybody? This is Matt here. Hope everyone's doing great. Hope everybody had a good Super Bowl Sunday and everybody was able to stay safe, healthy, all that other good stuff. Wanted to start off my my blog series. So as you guys know, this is going to be a weekly, or not a weekly, but a bi-weekly thing that I'm going to do of my blog series, basically giving you guys a look into my coaching world. You know, what I do as far as with coaching, what I go through, everything like that. So that's going to be the biggest thing that I want you guys to do, because I feel like people can take something from my experiences. You know, sorry if my hat is on crooked and stuff like that, but I just want people to know like what, you know, my experiences are, what I go through, stuff like that. But you know, before you guys do that, if you don't forget to make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, like and subscribe. You know, for more content from Hoop Up Season, I'll have more for you guys that I know you guys will enjoy. But everybody knows, like everybody who coaches, everybody who got into coaching or training or some sort of basketball, they have a story behind it. Not only in basketball, but in sports. There's a story behind why everybody got into coaching or why everybody got into playing or stuff like that. I want to get into why I started coaching, how I got into coaching, and, you know, tell my story of how I got into coaching and how I got to where I'm at. So as I mentioned, I believe in the intro video, which you'll see at the end, I got into, you know, I'm coaching girls club basketball, and I also run a girls club basketball program here in Northern California in Fairfield. I also coach girls JV basketball, which this will be my third season. Granted, if we have a season because of the pandemic, but been coaching overall. I've been coaching for about 5 years, I believe, and the biggest thing that a lot of people don't know is why I got into coaching, how I got into coaching. It's not so much why, but how I got into coaching. How I got into coaching basketball, because I coach football as well. But really, my story, it wasn't like, oh, I was destined for this, I had a passion for this, you know what I mean? I grew up playing basketball, you know. I'm originally from Los Angeles, Inglewood to be more specific, Inglewood, California, and just grew up around the game of basketball. I had a love for the game that's just defined, and played for almost my whole life. I still play to this day just for fun. Play competitively, and I played competitively in high school, wanted to play in the NBA, wanted to play college basketball. However, I had an unfortunate accident that led to open heart surgery, as well as a pacemaker being put in. So that effectively ended me playing at that level. However, I stayed involved, went to college, decided to pursue sports journalism like my grandfather suggested. So I pursued sports journalism and moved out to Los Angeles, where again I'm originally from. Went to school out there, finished school up, everything like that, and got a job in sports journalism. So when I came back to Northern California, I came back to Fairfield, I wasn't doing much. I just started writing at that time. I was running my own hockey blog. So I was running my own hockey website and podcast, as well as writing about college football. So I was doing two things within journalism and was looking to make a move probably in about 2 years after. So I was looking to make a move back to LA. However, we all know things happen for a reason, or things tend waiting to happen. But I started playing, while I was around. I wasn't doing anything. This was 2014. Around 2014, wasn't doing much for the summer or winter, and went around and watched the girls team, the girls Vanden team, watched the boys play. Went to watch the boys play, see how they did, see how they looked. Watched a lot of basketball while I was around, you know what I mean? And so, and also played some intramurals as well. I played some intramural basketball, but just did a lot of things, around basketball. And I noticed some kids who played at the high school, and, tried to take them under my wing, teach them a few things, do what people did for me at the gym when I was growing up in high school, where people took me under their wing and held me accountable and stuff like that. That's where I learned a lot of accountability. So I wanted to do the same. And so I did that. Basically was around journalism for still around journalism, wasn't doing much. Well, 2015, let's fast forward a year later. 2015, I was approached, I want to say in the fall of 2015, I was approached by a good friend of mine who I've known since my freshman year of high school. Anthony and I known him since our freshman year of high school. He's been around us, been around me, knows my mom, my dad, my brothers. But he was coaching at the middle school here, coaching at a local middle school here, and he mentioned, he brought up to me, and he brought it up before. He brought this up to me before. But he came up to me, he's like, hey, just letting you know, I'm the head coach at the middle school. I'm the head coach for the boys team, and I need, I'm looking for assistant coaches, and you're the first person that came to mind. I wanted to see if you were interested. And me, I never coached before. At that time, I've never coached, never been a coach, never done anything that involved coaching or anything like that. I like I said, I mentored some kids, but I never fully got into coaching with the X's and O's of basketball. Mind you, I already knew the X's and O's. Like, my X's and O's was throughout the, I don't want to say it was off the charts, but I thought pretty well as a basketball player. So I'm thinking, okay, this could translate over as a coach. So, translated over. I ended up getting not interviewed, but somewhat had it like a little background check from the AD at the middle school. Told him, he asked me, he was like, what's your why? How come you want to get into coaching? Tell me about you and tell me about yourself. Because he never really knew me like that. I knew of him, but he never knew me. And so, sorry, there's a motorcycle going by. I'm sitting by the window. But anyway, I ended up getting the job. I ended up filling out the paperwork and the application to be a volunteer coach, which is cool, which is fine. I had no issue with that. We're not getting paid for it. I knew I had to start somewhere. So, my first day, I remember my first day, the head coach wasn't there. Mind you, I think I had a cold that day for tryouts. But went to try, did tryouts. We were mapping out tryouts, so we had everything ready to go. Well, I get a text message saying, hey, I have to go out of town. I have to go out of town for work, and it's just gonna be you. Mind you, never really. This is my first time coaching, right? First time coaching. Never really coached or anything, and I gotta conduct tryouts for 50-something 7th graders. I think it was 7th graders, but I gotta conduct tryouts for 50-something 7th graders. Interesting, right? But ended up, it went well. I managed it the best that I can. I did skill stations and let them scrimmage. Thankfully, my good friend, the head coach, came back, ready. He was managed to help me through the way. And there was a couple of times I had, my first year was interesting. We didn't win much. I mean, we were good, but we weren't good. We didn't win league, and we sat here, I just remember my first year just being a learning process, because I was learning how to be a head coach and just like, what do I need to do to become a better head coach? And thankfully, I had a lot of people take me under their wing the first year just to guide me through, like, hey, come through, sit down and practice. And in practice was giving me word of advice, telling me I should attend coaching clinics and look into stuff. So my first year was really just a learn by trial. I had to conduct practices by myself. I had to learn how to do a practice plan. I had to learn how to do all these things as a coach. So that was my first year. It was really just somebody giving me a chance, just asking me, hey, do you want to be a head coach, or not a head coach, but do you want to be an assistant coach? At middle school was the easiest thing, and I kept coaching. Well, then the next year, I'm thinking the same thing. Good friend's gonna be back. I'm gonna be back as an assistant. I'm coaching football at the middle school. Well, come to find out that he ended up getting replaced by a PE teacher, who's also now a good mentor of mine and a good friend of mine. And when he got replaced, I sat there and I just went, well, that's the end of my coaching, thing for basketball. I guess that's it. I guess I'll coach football, see where it takes me. But I ended up spending one season at the middle school, and then I ended up leaving to go to high school the following year to coach football as well. But that year, I learned a lot I learned a lot as a coach, picking up from coaching football and, learning from people, and coaching basketball at the middle school, at Golden West, just where we would just, in that year, we just had a lot of talent on that team. But I was given more responsibility. I was allowed. This was the year. These 2 years where I was on a staff where we lost only 2 games in 1 year. We only lost 2 games, won back-to-back league championships. But I was given more responsibility, and that was the blessing. I was given more responsibility to do things. I was given more responsibility to, to help with plays, to run practice when the coach wasn't there, game planning, all this stuff. I was given all that responsibility. At the same time, I was able to be around. I was always in the gym, mind you. I was always in the gym watching, whether it was the girls play, whether it was the boys play. I was keeping the clock for the boys, or shot clock for the boys. I was doing all those things, and it allowed me to see how other coaches worked and everything, and I studied it while I was watching games. So I wasn't just watching games, just like watch games. I was studying them. So 2 years at the middle school was great. It was a learning experience. I got to coach. Through that time, I got to coach youth center basketball. I got to coach youth center basketball. And it was a lot of fun. I ended up, as a matter of fact, it was something, because it segues into where I'm at now. So where I'm at right now, and this is the interesting part where I'm like, okay, this is how I got here. So coaching at the middle school, I was ready to challenge myself. I'm always looking for new ways to challenge myself. And I wanted to get into AAU to further help kids. Any way I can get into AAU, I'll get into AAU. It was something that I loved playing at the time. I loved playing AAU. I enjoyed it. It was competitive. It was the best of the best to me, and I wanted kids to experience that. And I wanted to find a way to experience it, but I didn't know where to start. So I was gonna stay on the boys' side and coach boys, and from there, I had a good friend of mine, Coach Andre, who runs a gym called No Time to Chill. He that's promotion for you, by the way, Coach Dre. If you watched it, there's promotion for you. I ended up having a conversation with him at a girls' game at in high school. At the high school, I had a conversation with them, and it was crazy because the conversation went talking about, hey, I'm thinking about starting an AAU club, but I don't know where to start. I got to do the research. And he was like, well, have you thought about doing girls basketball? And that's where the idea, when people suggest something, the ideas start wheeling in your head. And so, idea was wheeling in my head, like, girls basketball. Never thought about coaching girls basketball. And he was making some good points. Wasn't that many teams in the area at the time, in the county. Wasn't that many teams in this area. It was something where I don't gotta, it was more so of I could teach, and mind you, with basketball in general, you gotta teach. But it was a challenge. It was a challenge for me to further, if I want to get better as a coach, I need to find a way to challenge myself to get better. Because if I can coach, fifth and sixth and fourth and third graders and teach them the game of basketball in the limited amount of time I can do it, and coach middle schoolers, coaching girls is going to be the next challenge. So that's where we went, and that's thus starting the Lady Jets, starting the Lady Jets program, and grabbing those group of girls, and just the program, it was the start was interesting. We practiced, we practiced Saturdays, Sundays, played in one tournament a month, just worked on development. And the first year was interesting because we didn't win many tournaments. We didn't even win many games in those tournaments. I think the first tournament we played in, we got mauled, and I do mean mauled in the first game. Manhandled in the second game. We ended up winning the third game, but those girls kept trying, they kept getting better, and it was like, all right, we got something. We're gonna build this group as it goes. And then my thing was, I was gonna let them go into high school and go from there. But man, it was interesting. I didn't know what was up. But I want to say my best. I know it's cliche to say it. A lot of people think we won one tournament, but a lot of people will say, "Oh, you won your first tournament." That got to be like the big point there. But no, starting up that program was one of the high points in me coaching, and that's because getting started with it, getting into girls basketball, it made me want to see those girls succeed. And a lot of those girls now are, I've seen them get better and better and better and better and better and better and better. And that was the biggest thing for me. But did that while I was coaching middle school boys, so it was a double bonus because I got to see the girls who I coached, watch them play while coaching, and that was the biggest thing that I enjoyed was that. That was the biggest thing I enjoyed. So through that time, recruiting for basketball, getting these girls ready for high school basketball, because a lot of my girls the next year they go into high school and playing high school basketball, right? So those are my 7th, now 8th graders at the time. So it's like, okay, got to get you ready for high school. Then when high school goes, I got to get you ready for your JV coach, so y'all are ready and yada, 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 right? Well, that summer, that's when a lot of things, and I would say the best thing for me coaching wise, and the best thing in my life, one of the best things in my life, ended up happening that summer. So I started going to coaching clinics, and I linked up with the one of the varsity coaches at Bannon, Coach Jake. Me and him go back. We know each other for a while, but he's helped me. He had a huge part in helping me with the girls and helping with girls basketball and stuff like that. And he said, one thing I noticed about you is you're always in the gym. That was one thing that stuck out to me. He said, you're always in the gym watching games, watching, studying, And, with him and his wife, Coach Jay, I appreciate them a lot. I can't say enough great things about those two, and Coach Holloway, who coaches the boys at Bandon. The Bandon basketball program, the Bandon athletic program is amazing. That summer, I want to say, I don't remember when that summer, but that summer, I think we went from 2015. So we're at this point, we're in 2018. So we're in 2018 now. Mind you, this is towards the end, so don't worry. We're in 2018 now, and I want to say that this is where things started. It was like, okay, what's going on and stuff like that. Well, they approached me, I want to say, after we had a joint workout, and they approached me about the girls, about what my basketball plans were. They asked me, like, what are your basketball plans? Like, what are your plans during basketball season? And I told them, I'm like, I'm free other than Golden West. So, which is the middle school. So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, am I going to, what's going to happen? Am I going to coach? Like, what do you have planned for me? Or not coach, excuse me, but I'm like, you want me to keep the clock? Like, me being a part of the program in a huge way, like, what do you have planned for me? And so they approached me about being, about coaching there. And I instantly, without hesitation, I said yes. By any means, by any way, I'll do it. You want me to be an assistant? You want me to be like, and I'm thinking at this point, I'm going to be an assistant coach. Well, let's go months later. I want to say a couple of months later, I end up being told at a tournament that I was going to be the head coach, the head JV coach, which was amazing to me. It was a great thing. It was something that tested me, and to this day, it's still a challenge because it's like trying to get better and better and better and better and better, and it's something that I take with pride, being the JV coach at the high school, a part of a great program that they have. But that's the end of my story. That's my journey. That's how I ended up coaching. That's how I ended up where I'm at now. I know that's kind of rambled on for a bit, about 20 minutes. It's too long to condense it into 8 minutes and whatnot. But that's how I got my start. That's, how I got into coaching, and that's how I got to where I am now. For my advice for those who are getting into coaching, I suggest, and I tell people, get involved with coaching. Coach youth center, try and learn, teach the game, but also get into it for the right reasons too. For me, my reason was I just want to see players get better and help develop players and help them get better in basketball and in life. So have a reason, know your why, because with coaching, it is work, it is dedication. So that's the biggest thing, that's the biggest advice I can give somebody is, keep working, keep grinding, the story is going to keep going for you. And, you never know, we may cross paths one day or something like that. I'm nobody to sit there and say, oh, I've done it all. I'm still learning, I haven't gotten nowhere yet, but hopefully this story can, with this story, it will help you guys out as well. And if you have a story, feel free, share it in the comments. Share it in the comments. Let me know what you guys want to see. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys later.